Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. We're going to review all of our projects for Vlogmas in July 2024. So if you want to see all of our accomplishments, please stay tuned. Vlogmas in July 2024 has been amazing. I am so excited about everything that I was able to get done this month. Thank you first to everybody who has watched and commented, to all my new subscribers. It has been an amazing month, and I'm so glad that you guys join me on this journey. We're going to go over all of the projects that I completed. I didn't really complete anything all the way through, but all of our little mini completions and new starts, because now I have about this much stuff to go in my sewing book for UFOs. And I will get started on those as soon as I get my next major project done. So let's start first with the quilts. So there were 3 quilt tops that I completed this month. So excited about all 3 of them. The most significant one, of course, is on the long arm. I'll put a picture of it here in the video. My nephew's star quilt. It is coming along nicely. For that one, it is a pretty big UFO that was on my list because it was a quilt that I started, I think 2 years ago, and I got the blocks done, but I had to make extra blocks. It was a whole thing. So if you have not seen the video for that quilt, of course, I'll leave it in the description box. But there's also a Vlogmas in July 2024 playlist where you can go through all of the videos. So if there's something that I touch on that you're not sure about, go to the playlist. Everything is there. So excited. My next big quilt top finish, and it's still not quite finished. This is this rainbow string quilt. It does have the borders. I loved putting this together. This was a foundation project where I used big pieces of paper as the foundation for these center blocks. I've also added a stop border, this purple, and some piano keys. The reason I say the top is not finished, 2 reasons. One, because there's paper still on the back of this that I haven't taken off yet, so I can't really do anything else to the quilt until I get this paper off. And I need to stay stitch around the outside of the piano keys. So that's like a stitch just 1/8 of an inch inside to keep those seams stable and to keep the edges from fraying too much. I have it sitting here on the design wall because I have not stay stitched it. Once I stay stitch it, then I'll be much more comfortable taking it down and getting the rest of that paper off. But I have the backing pick for this. I've started a little bit on the binding using what was left of the piano keys, and then I'm going to put the purple as a flange on it. But that's still a little ways down the road. But so excited to have this one completed. The other quilt that the top is done, but I still need to add borders to it, is this giant Jacob's Ladder quilt. And I'm not sure if we'll be able to get it all the way in the frame, but here it is. This one was so fun to put together because I used 10-inch squares that I had already pre-cut and 5-inch squares that I had already pre-cut. And I picked a color palette and I just went with it. So I'm really excited about this one. This one is already designated to go to a baby, and the baby is already here. So this is going to be my second major finish after I get my nephew's quilt off the long arm. I'm excited because this now has a project box that I think I put over on the shelf. So I'm really looking forward to getting this one finished. I think it's going to be absolutely adorable once it has the borders, and I think I have enough. I think I have some fabric for the backing, so it's going to be awesome. All right, so those are my 3 quilt tops that I got accomplished this month. Now let's go to these other things. I have now a storage box for Orphan Blocks, because now I have some Orphan Blocks. The ones that are directly related to projects, I'm going to keep those separate. But these are just blocks that we made as a result of Vlogmas this year. One block, the first block that I explored was the bow tie block. And so I have it here in two colorways. These used 5-inch squares and 2.5-inch squares. And then I created another block using 2.5-inch squares and little bitty 1.5-inch squares. So really nice, really cute. So these can be a great project that I can finish out at some point just using some scrap fabric. So those are fun to put together, and they go in here with the Orphan Blocks. Another Orphan Block that I made this time was the Buckeye Beauty block, and this uses 5-inch squares and 2.5-inch squares, and so what am I trying to say? I created this one with 4 patches and half square triangles. So a lot of fun to put that one together. This would also be something that I could finish out and make into an entire quilt. Let's see, are there any true orphans? Well, I guess technically this one is an orphan because it's the only one like it. My potato chip block. But now I have a small stash of potato chip rectangles cut. Let me show them to you. They're really cute. So right now I have them in this storage box right here. And that's how many I've cut so far. And I love that I can see the color as they're like this. But I just noticed or realized that I have this box that's a little bit smaller. So I might try them in this box, but I don't know yet. I'm going to keep them in here for right now. But yeah, so this is my little potato chip block stash. And I would love to make a complete quilt out of these. But right now I have so many other things going on. I'm not sure how I would fit it in. These are from 2.5-inch strips that I had in my scrap bucket that are not quite with the fabric. So I cut so like after I made this quilt and the rainbow trip around the world, the strips that I had left over, I'm going to be cutting those down into potato chips, which are 2.5 by 4.5. Then down to squares. So that's my new strategy for that. But for now, the potato chip block is going to go into my Orphan Blocks because it doesn't have any more partners to go with it. Now I have more storage boxes. I got some from school from somebody who was giving them away. And so now I'm going to have boxes for my other projects. I've really enjoyed exploring scraps this month, and guys, you have been so amazing commenting and giving your suggestions for scrap organization. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we've helped some people in our community as well. So thank you. We talked about how I organize my scraps. We talked about things that you can do with your scraps. And so for the squares, a couple of things that we can do I've already shown with the bow tie block. With the strips, the potato chip block, and also with the squares. So I created a couple of blocks. These are some that were already, that I already do. This one is a postage stamp block. And this one we did as a rainbow. Let me turn it the right way. So as a rainbow, but the ones that I typically do are just the one color. But for our video, I did a rainbow postage stamp block, and I think it's going to be really cute next to my other blocks. So I'm going to add that. Now I'm going to create a storage bucket for my postage stamp block so I can get them out of the way a little bit. And we also created the hidden 9-patch block. And this one is this also uses I also used 2.5 inch squares to create this block, and it is scrappy, but then it has that cohesive 9 patch in the block. So it's kind of a little surprise there. And both of these, the postage stamp and this hidden 9 patch, I think will make gorgeous quilts. And so I'm looking forward to when I get, I'm sure I have enough squares, but just putting all these squares into these different blocks and kind of seeing what comes out. So I will have actually this one, the hidden 9 patch, I'm going to put that with my Orphan Blocks because it's the only one like it. My postage stamp, I'm going to put all of these in a storage box together. The reason I'm going to do that is because I don't work on these a lot. It was a leader ender project, but I'm not doing that right now. Okay, so let me put this with the Orphan Blocks. Just so when I get ready to clean up, everything is right there together. Okay. Now, we had a couple of projects that I started during this month of Vlogmas. And one was our live videos. Thank you guys so much for your support in the lives. It was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that we got to sort of hang out in my sewing room for about an hour each week. It was cool, and I enjoyed it. And during that time, I put together this paper piece block. It's called Fist Raised by Jennifer Offenstein. I will leave her website and with a link to this particular pattern, but she has a lot of paper piecing patterns on her website. She also has a YouTube channel, which is her name, Jennifer Offenstein, here on YouTube. And she does a lot of cool things there as well. So this is the block that we made. This was my practice block. And this is the one that I made on the lives. I love how this turned out. I still have the paper on the back. So it is still a work in progress. I think that I want to make at least 12 of these blocks and use them in like a wall hanging or something like that. But again, it's just going to go on my list. There's so many different things that I was able to start. But I'm excited that I did this. I think it came out really great. And the other project that I started on was I did a couple of Quilt As You Go panels. Here they are. These are going to be a tote bag for my mom. I need to get this finished. And really, I may do this before I do the Jacob's Ladder quilt, but finishing this would be like an afternoon kind of project. I think I could finish it pretty quickly. These are going to be the outside panels. And here is the lining for this. Okay. And it has that vintage kind of feel that I like. And these panels have some polyester that my grandmother used in a couple of quilts. So I think that my mom is really going to get a kick out of this. And it coordinates nicely with the lining. So this is going to be another project that I'm going to be working on finishing hopefully very soon. Now, another thing that I did, and this is just like a side thing because I have my leader ender project going on all the time. So my leader ender project currently is Jacob's Ladder blocks. So I have 2 of them that I completed. And what's cool about these blocks is that they were not a part of Vlogmas at all, but I worked on them because I was working on other projects. And so these were my leader enders. So I got this block done and this block done. And of course, there's another block already started over there. And I have the 4 patches. These Jacob's Ladder blocks, so fun. And I'm using 5-inch squares and 2.5-inch squares, all from my scraps. This gray fabric, it's a backing fabric that I've used so many times and I have so much of it left over that it's going to make a great background for this quilt and unify everything because I'm putting all the different colors in here that I can find. So it's going to be a lot of fun to have a completed quilt. I think right now I have 10 Jacob's Ladder blocks. I would have to count them to be sure, but I think there are 10 now, and or 9, and the 10th is over on the machine now. So these leader ender projects are really great because you get extra blocks basically for free while you're working on other projects. So I think that wraps us up for Vlogmas in July 2024. Again, it has been such a wonderful experience, and I'm so grateful to all of you in YouTube land who've helped this be a success. If you have additional ideas for videos, or if there's something that you have a question about or that you need more information about, please leave them in the comments below. I would encourage you to go and check out the entire Vlogmas playlist if you haven't seen it, because there may be something you missed and you want to go back and check it out. I'm just so grateful that I was able to get this done this year. What a fun project. What a worthwhile adventure. And I'm just, again, just so grateful. If you have questions about what you've seen, I already said this, but I'm going to say it again. Leave them in the comments below. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.